What's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day today. We have some breaking news in the crypto space that just took place. If you hold XRP, this is massive. Just comment 777 if you're feeling blessed. Comment 777 if you're feeling bullish, and you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree. As always, confirm it in the comments below. It's not going to happen unless you confirm it, unless you believe it, and then you got to be it, then you got to do it and take action on the right stuff. So in this video, I'm going to share with you not only what's happening with XRP, what's happening in the crypto space, but I'm gonna share with you some powerful information that you need to know that's gonna help you set yourself apart from everyone else that you know, so you can truly become wealthy in these crazy economic times. Because with the dollar going down in value, you need to have a plan. Let's run it. So if you've been around the crypto space for a while, you've obviously heard of Chamath Palihapitiya. He's saying that crypto is dead in America. Listen to this.
SEC obviously sent a Wells notice. We talked about this before, to Brian Armstrong of Coinbase. He said he's thinking about or considering relocating out of the U.S. if the regulatory clarity does not improve.
Crypto's dead in America.
It is dead in America.
Crypto's dead in America. I mean, now you had Gensler. You had Gensler even blaming the banking crisis on crypto. So the United States authorities have firmly pointed their guns at crypto.
Is it a scapegoat, or was it a around find out moment for crypto in your mind, or a little bit of both?
I don't know. I just think that they were probably the ones that were the most threatening to the establishment.
Okay.
And they were the ones that, in fairness to the regulators, did push the boundaries more than any other sector of the startup economy. And yeah, so now they're paying the price for that. The bill has come due for them.
Sachs, is it a around find out moment? Is it protecting the American dollar? Somewhere in between? Or incompetence on regulators' part?
The more I think about it, the more I think it's probably not a coincidence that you're seeing all these concerns about de-dollarization at the same time they're cracking down on crypto. So look, there were a bunch of crypto companies that might have done shady things, but I think we all agree that Coinbase was not one of them. Coinbase was the gold standard in terms of doing everything right. And they've just asked over and over again for a regulatory framework. They're just like, tell us how to operate and we'll do it. So I think Chamath is right that they're effectively banning crypto in the United States. They're going to drive all these companies overseas, which is terrible for American innovation. I don't know exactly where blockchain and crypto are going to go from here, but I think that we should find that out in America. You know, we don't want that innovation going offshore.
You bring up a really good point too. It's just like Coinbase played by the rules, stood in line, tried to do the right things, it seems, at every step along the way, right? Everything from board composition to executive composition to how they tried to interact with the regulators, yet they were probably the furthest away from getting a license. The one that came the closest was the one that was the most fraudulent, which is FTX.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
How is that even possible?
I mean,
because he had skills in gaming the system.
Yeah, he's splashy cashy.
Well, he ponied up large amounts of money because it wasn't his money, so it was easy for him to make huge donations. But he knew how to play the game. To quote SBF, he said, "This is the dumb game we woke Westerners play. We say the right shibboleth so everyone likes us." That's the game he was playing, which is my whole concern about if we jump the gun on regulating AI too quickly, it'll turn into another, woke game that everyone's going to play.
Now, U.S. regulators have served enforcement actions against multiple crypto exchanges and projects since the start of the year, including Ripple's XRP, Coinbase, Binance, KuCoin, and Kraken, and some suspect that the crypto industry is under a coordinated attack, saying that this is part of their CBDC plan through debanking crypto companies and massive banks under the Operation Choke Point 2.0 scenario. Because back in 2014, if you remember correctly, the Wall Street Journal blew the lid off the Obama-Biden administration's Operation Choke Point, where the Department of Justice and bank regulators colluded and overreached their authority to close legal businesses that were deemed undesirable. And the Justice Department was saying that it was all in good faith to crack down on illegal businesses, but a lot of people didn't see it that way. So I'll let you be the judge of that, but they did it through pressuring banks and credit payment systems and processors to close the accounts of people and companies that had not violated any laws without any proof or wrongdoing. And right now it's happening again today, but on a much bigger scale against legal US companies that use crypto technology for their product offerings. And this is happening because Congress and the federal government, they've been lagging behind to create regulatory framework to address this. So American innovators that allows them to basically know how to legally operate, and consumers could be protected from harm because of this from companies like FTX. So the SEC failed to recognize what was going on with FTX, even though Gary Gensler met with Sam Bankman-Fried several times. And if you watched my video the other day with Gary Gensler testifying and being asked if Ethereum is a commodity or if it's a security, he was shaking. He couldn't give an answer because maybe he doesn't even want to give clarity. And that's providing an opening for a panicked administration to launch another illegal war on American businesses they don't like and distract the public from their own economic mismanagement. And combine that with companies like Bed Bath & Beyond filing for bankruptcy because of online retailers taking the market share. Since everything is going from brick and mortar over to click and order, anyone could see that coming if you don't adapt and thrive with what's happening with Amazon.com and other massive companies announcing major layoffs and hiring freezes since January 1st of this year. 3,150 plus companies have announced a layoff, some of which being Johnson & Johnson laying off over 1,000 employees, Lyft over 1,200 employees, Walmart over 2,000 employees, Amazon.com even laying off over 9,000 employees. And where they used to have mandatory hours because they had so many people on the production line, working on packaging boxes, they're telling them they don't need to be doing that anymore and they can take permanent time off, aka you fired. Meta, over 10,000 employees. Alphabet, which owns Google, laid off over 12,000 employees. 6% of the total workforce so far this year through Alphabet, which is insane. So between these layoffs, some of the world's biggest tech companies have collectively laid off more than 150,000 workers in recent months, which mostly comes down to a need to reduce costs as economic growth slows down around the world and artificial intelligence begins to take over the Fortune 500 companies. And so when we look at economic policies and how that relates to crypto, and we talk about what's happening with companies even like McDonald's. Look what they're doing with the first ever automated location with no human employees. This is insane. And personally, I don't eat fast food. Kind of grew up on fast food, but this is massive, guys, because this trickles into everything else. And this is all part of their plan to usher in universal basic income because the need for human workers will decrease in the future. And we've been prepping you for this on this channel for a long time. So you need to be ready now. You have to prepare now. In my opinion, if you don't prepare, that's fine. Take this information or leave it. What you choose to do is up to you. And when you look at guys like Tucker Carlson at Fox, basically speaking out about what's going on when they don't want that information being spread, well, guess what? He's gone now. And so if they control the minds of everyone, and they push their narrative, then it makes everyone more easily controllable. Remember, whoever controls the 5 M's controls the world. That includes the military, the medicine, the media, and the money. And that's how you control the minds of the sheeple. But I know you're smarter than the average sheep because you're a free thinker and you're actively seeking out the truth and you don't just blindly believe anything anyone tells you. So that's why I love to bring in these videos as facts, because crypto-friendly banks such as Custodia Bank have also been targeted, leading some to infer that these decisions were made as part of an anti-crypto agenda through their Operation Choke Point 2.0 to usher in what's called Project Icebreaker from the Central Bank of Central Banks, which is the Bank for International Settlements, where is basically the bank that tells every other bank what to do and how to implement their policies, running the Federal Reserve. Even though the Federal Reserve seems to be an independent entity in the United States, the Bank of International Settlements is what you want to be looking at. So with this obvious lack of clarity in the US, the Fed not knowing how to fight inflation, the problem that they created through massive monetary print orders back in 2020 through the CARES Act to stimulate the economy. And when we see the clarity for in the US for Ripple, it's not happening. Well, they posted their latest white paper on Twitter, and in it, Ripple conducted a survey of nearly 300 payment leaders across 45 countries to explore the state of blockchain and crypto and payments. And results showed that many companies are dissatisfied with legacy payment rails and understand the benefits of crypto-enabled solutions, saying it's only a matter of time before more widespread adoption takes place. However, that adoption won't be in the United States. And now the companies that were interviewed, 52% are considering using crypto and only 17% currently support crypto-enabled payments. And they were asked, which of the following reasons do you view as barriers to your organization using blockchain technology for payments? And 89% said regulatory clarity. Moreover, the respondents who cited additional adoption barriers, nearly 90% pointed to regulatory ambiguity as the main deterrent. Even the second most cited concern, limited industry acceptance, may be the cause of regulatory clarity. So it all boils down to not knowing what's a commodity and what's a security in the crypto space, which doesn't give billionaires the confidence to pour money into this industry, knowing that it could all be considered a security under the SEC's eyes if Gary Gensler gets his way. So where do we go from here for the US with crypto, specifically XRP? Well, regulatory clarity appears to be the major roadblock right now. Obviously, the court hearing schedule is at the end for Ripple versus SEC's lawsuit, and a decision will come any day now from the judge, and the industry is trending in a positive direction on a macro scale due to the de-dollarization around the globe and Project Icebreaker that I'll be discussing with you in a little bit. Now, in the US, President Biden, he released a first-of-its-kind framework for crypto regulation a little bit ago, highlighting how financial institutions can and should adapt and evolve for better cross-border transactions, as well as the benefits of digital currencies like CBDCs, central banking digital currency stablecoins, to enable a more efficient, sustainable payment system. And in my last video, we discussed what Project Icebreaker is with the Bank for International Settlements to conduct all CBDC projects globally, connect them globally using distributed ledger technology. And less than a week ago, they posted this talking about the Bank of International Settlements and the Bank of England conducting what's called Project Meridian, which is the first experiment to be carried out by the BIS Innovation Hub over in London. Listen to this.
Payments are essential to the global economy, and innovation is making it faster and easier to pay for things in our everyday lives. Project Meridian from the BIS Innovation Hub London Centre and the Bank of England is looking at how financial technology can improve transactions for a wide range of assets. The project experiments using the complex process of buying a house. It builds a prototype new entity, a synchronization operator, at the center of the transaction. They electronically coordinate the simultaneous transfer of money and house ownership. The synchronization operator asks for funds to be reserved in the buyer's bank account so they can only be used to purchase the property. At an agreed time, the operator starts the payment process. It asks the central bank to move funds from the buyer's bank to the seller's bank. Simultaneously, documents are electronically signed, passing ownership of the house to the buyer. The documents, completed in advance by legal representatives, would contain the information needed to update ownership details on the land registry. The operator automates this whole process and provides complete transparency. Everybody in the transaction is kept updated. Slow and frustrating paper trails would be replaced with fast digital procedures. And the buyer no longer wonders, have I bought that house yet? The prototype is scalable and flexible. It could synchronize the purchase of multiple houses simultaneously, and it could be applied to other types of transaction, such as banks exchanging currencies with each other. The automated processes could also lead to further innovation, for example by linking to other digital records to help protect against financial crime. Project Meridian, simplifying transactions through innovation.
So the project experiments with the concept of synchronization, in which transactions settle using central banking money where reserves are kept by commercial banks in the central bank. Because when you look at commercial banks like JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, US Bank, and then you have the central bank, which aka would be the Fed, or you have other countries that have their own central banks. Well, in real-time gross settlement systems, funds are transferred from a buyer to a seller only if the corresponding asset is on another ledger. So the key here is blockchain technology and distributed ledger technology. So if the central banks around the world are going to be using distributed ledger technology in banking and real estate, what does that mean for XRP, since there's been no official announcement from the Bank for International Settlements yet about XRP? Well, Ripple just confirmed in a special report that its on-demand liquidity payment solution is now live over in India, which is massive because in 2022, India and Mexico were two of the top 5 receivers for inbound remittance flows, with India retaining the #1 spot for almost 15 years. And India is one of the BRICS nations in a strategic alliance with Brazil, Russia, of course, India, China, South Africa, and now Saudi Arabia to undermine the US dollar by doing trades in the Chinese yuan as part of their currency and trade war with the USA. The BRICS will be announcing their new currency this summer after FedNow, and the US CBDC framework gets revealed to the public. So the key here is when the lawsuit between Ripple and the SEC is over, which is going to happen any day now, then that's going to give the clarity that this whole industry needs. And in my opinion, XRP is one of those cryptocurrencies. However, it's not clear cut and dry because these central banks and the Bank for International Settlements is not clearly stating that they're using Ripple's technology. However, the dominoes are being tipped and you need to be ready. And the bottom line is this.
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks. And secondly, we, through the central bank, we are having conversations to reinstate the interbank exchange market that has since not worked. And I am happy that the players in that sector, including our banks, are coming forward and they are participating, and they are working with the central bank so that we can again take charge of our market and that it is not allowed to be distorted.
You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our nation in just a few short years, not even close. Thanks to Joe Biden's socialist spending calamity, American families are being decimated by the worst inflation in half a century. Banks are failing, our currency is crashing, and the dollar will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat in over 200 years. Real wages have been falling 24 months in a row. In other words, under Biden, workers have gotten a pay cut each and every month for 2 straight years. We have surrendered our energy independence, and the price of gasoline just hit a 5-month high, and it's going much higher than that. Russia is teaming up with China, and Joe Biden has led us to the very brink of World War III. I'm not predicting World War III, but I will say this, we're very close, and they're only talking about nuclear weapons.
What do you need to do? Because if the Fed isn't going to live within their means, if they're not going to default, if they're going to tax the rich more, if you want to become rich, and you commented 777 because you're becoming the first millionaire, and they plan on taxing you more, what do you do to legally minimize your taxes, make more money, and prepare yourself when the dollar collapses so you can have more XRP, so you can have more Bitcoin, have more Ethereum, have more Shiba Inu, have more Solana, more Cardano, whatever you want, and have more productive assets? Well, number one, you need to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video all over social media so we can help more people understand what's going on so they can prepare, because here's what I'm personally doing to prepare. And again, take this or leave it. This is not financial advice. Consult your financial advisor if they are a multimillionaire. This is what I've done and what I'm going to continue to do that helped me become a millionaire before 30. Number one, you got to think of money like manure, right? If you pile it up in one place, it stinks and it rots. But if you spread it around, everything grows. I'm investing into assets that will either produce passive income or hold value in times of inflation or hyperinflation. And that's where crypto, that's where gold, that's where silver, that's where international real estate comes into play as other countries expand and more people want to move overseas, let alone hire employees overseas. But in order for you to do that, you can't just rely on the income from your job to invest, because the rise of artificial intelligence is replacing workers in industries like healthcare, finance, manufacturing, transportation, retail, education. The list goes on and on and on. You are increasing your risk every single day of being laid off. The days that go by where you don't focus on building a business on the side. So that's what I'm also doing. I'm building a side business. Now, the number one side hustle for you to focus on in 2023, in my opinion, that costs little to no money out of pocket, that's completely recession proof, it's completely depression proof, is an information-based business in any niche that you want, because people are more hungry for information than ever before. Remember, information changes situations. When you have different information, it changes the outcome and the output of your life. You know, education is the biggest problem in the world today. The complete overhaul of the education system and the student loan bubble that's about to burst is next. However, you know, most people that are going through formal education, they need to know that formal education will make you a living, but self-education can make you a fortune. And unfortunately, a formal education is not making people a living because they're having to focus on surviving rather than thriving due to minimum wage staying the same over the past few years and artificial intelligence taking jobs. And as always, you know what we're doing. We're backing up our truck all the way to the bank, We're grabbing the bags, packing them and stacking them, leaving no bags left behind because we believe the spending power of the dollar is going down in value. That's the truth based on inflation and what the Federal Reserve is doing. FedNow is not going to fix that. The CBDC system that they're planning on ushering in is not going to fix that. So in order to fix that, you have to take it into your own hands because together we're all going camping on the beaches of the moon, and Bull Runners Club is going up. So I will see you on the next video. I will see you on bullrunners.com. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.